Ghaelgagh.
As Phaitchyn Gus Goll's Gaccan. Welcome to Goll's Ghaelgagh and Gilgaboo Manx forever.
Manx Radio Weather with Manx Glass and Glazing.
And the weather be in Manx to start with. Be a chirum le shell and greenach faster as fast the big dew. Be gia near hui meenach na bjorn. As an temprele smoo on Celsius jeg. Be le brouwers chirum merach le shell and greenach as gia fes. Be an temprele share on Celsius jeg rist. Heg pertalia edrum rish fudnahi gus gemert. Ach ní seo sló chéal roise vaderen. Seo an riet, bí a chirum le sheal an grianach gemert, bí gia nia na shia hui fes on as an temprele smoo on Celsius jeg ristiach. Eri na grania dev an a jeg lug she merach as lai na grania 3 minutes feed roshach dew. Dry today with cloud to start, with bright or sunny intervals developing this afternoon. Moderate to fresh northwest winds and a top temperature of 11 degrees centigrade. A fine and dry day tomorrow with sunny spells and light winds. Best temperature of 11 degrees C again. A spell of light rain then arrives for a time overnight into Tuesday, but that will all clear away before the dawn. The outlook, dry with sunny intervals on Tuesday, light west or northwest winds and a maximum temperature of 11 degrees centigrade once more. And the sunrise will be at 12 minutes past 6 tomorrow and the sunset at 23 minutes to 7 today.
Manx Glass and Glazing don't just do the big jobs. It's easy to repair broken greenhouse glass at Manx Glass and Glazing. For greenhouse glass cut to size, call 674 573. Goll's Ghaelgagh, brought to you by the Gaelic Broadcasting Committee.
Cause you're a sky full of stars. I'm gonna give you my heart. Cause you're a sky full of stars. Cause you light up the park. I don't care, go on and tear me apart. I don't care if you do. Cause in the sky full of stars, I think I saw you. Cause you're a sky full of stars. I wanna die in your arms. Cause you get lighter the more it gets dark. I'm gonna give you my heart. I don't care, go on and tear me apart. I don't care if you do. Cause
As Manx as a walk around Peel Castle, Manx Radio.
And there we go, that was a good way to start the afternoon's programme. A sky full of stars with Coldplay. And I think there was a sky full of stars last night. The sort of time in the evening when you scotch the cats out so they can go hunting for the night. And I was out having scotched the cats out and looking up at the sky, and by golly, there was... it's quite inspiring. Well, I was certainly inspired. And something else that's inspired me, and often does, to be fair, last week it was announced that Annie Kissack, now I should declare an interest in this. Annie is my wife of several decades now. And anyway, Annie won the Reih Bleeaney Vanannan, the Vanannan's Choice of the Year award, which is the most prestigious cultural award I think you can win on the Isle of Man. We're going to hear a fair bit about that in the first hour. So we'll begin by hearing from Dr. Breesia Madrill. Then we're going to hear a little music from Anne Martin and Ingrid Henderson, Scottish harp players and singers, and then we'll hear from herself, Annie, and who shortly after she'd been the recipient of the Reih Bleeaney Vanannan's annual choice. So let's have a listen to some of these interviews and the music.
If there is one person who truly lives and breathes Manx culture and deserves to be Vanannan's Choice of the Year, it is Annie Kissack. What a stunning way to sum up the Reih Bleeaney Vanannan for 2025. Annie Kissack has been awarded the Isle of Man's highest cultural honour for her lifelong contribution to creativity and education in Manx culture, with a particular emphasis on the Manx language, traditional and original song, music and choral arranging, poetry, literature and folklore. Annie is someone who tells and shapes the stories of these shores with care, passion and the deepest of integrity. She is, as you will all know, one of life's natural communicators, and her contagious enthusiasm ensures that everyone, young and old, can get involved in or simply sit back and enjoy Manx music, song and poetry. She wears her learning lightly though, for Annie has honed her knowledge for more than 5 decades. She's equally at home with her nose in old books, as she is talking to people who hold a store of Manxness in themselves, and she's a very good listener. All that she carries with her embodies this living spirit of the Manx tradition, as expressed in the poems, songs and music she creates. In so many ways, Annie represents the beating heart of the Isle of Man. Annie says that her interest in Manx Gaelic was first awakened by her teacher at Onchan School, Leslie Quilliam RBV, an interest encouraged by her parents, who themselves started Manx lessons at night school and remained long-term supporters of the language. Annie and sister Jenny joined Mona Douglas's Manx youth movement, Ghaelgagh Vanannan, in the mid-1960s. Alongside other children, Annie regularly participated in Manx-themed concerts, plays and competitions, including the Gildan and Cruinnicht. A talented singer and musician, she's represented the Isle of Man at inter-Celtic festivals from her teenage years to the present day, as a soloist and part of groups such as Kerry Ben Dance Group, Cúirteann Cúideach Manx Gaelic Choir, and as a founding member of the Arthur Cayley Giant Band. Her musical arrangements and poetry have been recognised with awards and honours around the world. The inaugural award for artistic merit from the Bunscoill in Northern Ireland in 2001, and first places at the Pan-Celtic Festival choral competitions. In short, she is a vital force in not only preserving and promoting, but also creatively developing the Isle of Man's rich tapestry of cultural heritage. Inspired by a competition at Cruinnicht, Annie gathered musical friends together to form Cúirteann Cúideach, which has just celebrated its 25th year. The choir continues to perform Annie's arrangements of Manx songs, along with her own compositions in Manx, and I think we can all agree her output has been truly incredible. As young parents living in Cregnish, Annie and her husband Phil ensured that the Manx language was passed on to their children. The couple played a key role in establishing Manx language provision for early years, helping set up an Chyd Chesmyd playgroup and developing Munjavega educational charity. These early successes led to the establishment of the Bunscoill Ghaelgagh, the Manx medium school in St John's. And it's fitting that Munjavega is a recipient of the £500 donation that accompanies the award. Annie's commitment to the island's culture is also reflected in her creative and educational contributions. Her songs, as you've heard, range from fun and catchy to serious and contemplative. She can pen a simple rhyme to aid learning in the classroom and conjure up a complex choral work that can fill a whole cathedral with beauty and wonder. Her work has been published as Munjavega's Reih Bleeaney book and CD of little songs for young people, numerous albums with Ghaelgagh, and within recording projects like Solace, The Promised Land and the Mona's Isle project. Annie, of course, helped establish the Bunscoill Ghaelgagh as a place of excellence for the Manx language and for performing arts. Over 20 years, she's co-written at least 7 Manx Gaelic musicals with her fellow teacher, Aileen Clegg, resulting in dozens of songs which are enjoyed by all ages. And her songs have been published in the Ceolan Tia series and in the Nollaig Gennell songbook. In more recent years, Annie has been rightfully recognised as a poet, actor and playwright. She was crowned the 5th Manx Bard in 2018, publishing her collection of poems, Mona Sings, in 2022, as well as having success in various international anthologies. Her poems describe the Isle of Man's landscape, the people, this sense of place, and this is also reflected in her plays. An authority on the Manx dialect, she's recently voiced one of the characters in the BBC radio play of Hall Caine's The Manxman. An encouraging voice to all who seek to discover Manx culture, Annie's impact on the Isle of Man is immeasurable, and she is most deserving of the Reih Bleeaney Vanannan Award. The island is certainly richer for her contribution to Manx culture, for all that she has done and continues to do. Molly was solid, Annie.
Go married.
That was rather nice. And Martin and Ingrid Henderson. And they came over, gosh, I don't know how many years ago, several years ago anyway, for the Coosh, possibly before it was even called the Coosh, when it was the Phaitchyn Ghaelgagh Manx Language Festival. But yes, great track that. And we heard before that from Dr. Breesia Madrill, who was introducing the new Reih Bleeaney Vanannan for 2025, which was, of course, Annie Kissack. And that was Breesia's speech, so let's have a listen to what Annie had to say. And be warned, it starts off with a little bit of Manx and finishes with a little bit of Manx, but the gist of it is there in the English part of the speech.
Surgeon, as Breesia had Shen Fi Kenchel Gurumai Mured, Tammy Jin Mach, the Cosner, no under show, Teorum Kerbuist, a ram slide, Dowson Rankerma Enum, Rush and Fannel, as the Fannel Heen, to Ulia Nafani and Culture Vannan. As and Shiggers, de Vanannan Heen. I'm not going to do all this thank you speech in Manx, so here's the English bit. First, many thanks to Breesia for that most generous tribute. I'm very grateful to those who nominated me and to the panel who assessed the nominations, and no doubt Vanannan himself played a very big part in this too. Thanks again to Breesia and to Culture Vannan for organising this presentation, and to Begarrow Chapel, of course, for letting us piggyback on the back of a concert that Kirjan Kujak had already arranged to do. So thank you so much for that. It's lovely to look back on the names of previous recipients of the Reih Bleeaney Vanannan and feel myself in the company of those whose work I admire and who in many cases have been and are teachers and friends. My mum and dad would have been delighted too. Without their support, I couldn't have followed up my early interests in Manx, but because culture is not something you can do on your own. I'm sure my friends in Kirjan Kujak would agree. Without them, I'd have nobody to write songs for. It's great also to have the support of my more recent family, Phil, Ewan and Kitty, who have never turned a hair when I got wind of an idea and disappeared into a project for days on end. Now, our children can't be here today, but I'm delighted that Sister Jenny, wave your hand please, Sister Jenny, is here, along with my dear friend Claire Kilgallen, RBV, where's Claire gone? There she is, yes. We three shared a lot of adventures at Gaelic Vanannan with Mona Douglas. And Jenny, years ago, designed this medal. And I remember her doing it. I might even have offered some advice. She didn't take it, I think. She made the right decision. As Breesia mentioned, I had my first Manx lesson after school in Onken in the mid-1960s, and I remember running home to tell Mum all about it. And at that time, I had very little interest in school, apart from singing hymns in the morning. I struggled with reading, writing and maths, but during those Manx lessons, and they were very basic Manx lessons, I realised somehow, and it was like a sudden moment, when I felt I'd been given the key to something special that might unlock secrets in the future. And I remember looking out of the bedroom window towards the more rural parts of Onken Parish and view what I saw from there with new curiosity. Why were we living in Ballacrint? What did that mean? What was the distant farm called? Why had my great-grandparents stopped speaking Manx? I sensed there might be stories lying in the landscape, and there might be some nearer home too, and so it proved. And from that initial introduction to the language, I gradually became involved in music and dancing, and eventually was able to read more widely in history, literature and folklore, and I saw how all these things might tie in with each other. And the magic and excitement of Manx culture is, for me, all these connections still waiting to be made. And I'm so grateful to have had chances to make them. Vogelbeg, Bunscoill Ghaelgagh, y culture as briacus. Tan cwt smwj yn briacus goit son ons crew ren yn no. Ac te bun na ayen ciol na ffoglan. The men at chit was aber gin hajek ex sly elia as yn ronsacht och. Gin tas blainton sio kai nor as the leon sio as current linia. As who me mac ram to lort as geiste rish slynius. Ta kinjak smooth that Evan mag. Look shen tammy said a goll red skin lig a red the fel na rudden tammy ginu. Gin kiat sanach du Kissack. Ons blainton sio kai va ram again and a veione cushion mission. Ac aliams the fel shinoyu tiggle a soldier a mach nan gultua ons na reg and heen. A shen an act lithic ve. Holir is nach fel she Jerud na frauen as ligad and briacus guess Phaitchyn. Nish ta pers chit arm, yam spelling. Smiley am cavern the hay. Oh, smiley am cavern the hay, na virgin, smiley am cavern the hay. Smiley am cavern the hay, na virgin, smiley am cavern the hay. You so sna virgin, smiley am cavern the hay. You so sna virgin, smiley am cavern the hay. Oh, smiley am cavern the hay, na virgin, smiley am cavern the hay. Smiley am cavern the hay, na virgin, smiley am cavern the hay. You so sna virgin, smiley am cavern the hay. You so sna virgin, smiley am cavern the hay. Thank you, goodbye, William.
Session National Radio
Ghaelgagh's Gaccan, brought to you by the Gaelic Broadcasting Committee.
And indeed it is. And we heard earlier there from Annie Kissack, the recipient of the Reih Bleeaney Vanannan, the Manannan's Choice of the Year. And we'll hear more from both Breesia and Annie shortly. But first, a little time from the beautiful south.
I need a little time to think it over. I need a little space just on my own. I need a little time to find my freedom. I need a little.
Funny how quick the milk turns sour, isn't it? Isn't it? Your face has been looking like that for hours, hasn't it? Hasn't it? Promises, promises turn to dust. Wedding bells just turn to rust. Trust into mistrust.
I need a little room to find myself. I need a little space to work it out. I need a little room all alone.
You need a little room for your big head, don't you? Don't you? You need a little space for 1,000 beds, won't you? Won't you? Lips said promise, feel the worst. Tongue so sharp, the bubble bursts. Just into unjust.
I've had a little time to find the truth, and I've had a little room to check what's wrong. I've had a little time, and I still love you. I've had a little.
You had a little time and you had a little fun, didn't ya? Didn't ya? Well, you had yours, do you think I had none? Do ya? Do ya? The freedom that you wanted back is yours for good. I hope you're glad. Sad into unsaid. I had a little time to think it over. Had a little room
as Manx is calling the energy from waste plant the incinerator. Manx Radio.
Manx Radio. Station and Nation Reih Bleeaney Vanannan.
And yes, indeed, this is the Station and Ashun, the nation station, Radio Vanannan, Manx Radio. And a little catch up on the weather. Chirum leis Shallan Greanach faster as fast a big dew. Be le browers Chirum on Merach, as be a Chirum leis Shallan Greanach Jemert. Begging the flia either Jaloon as Jemert. So dry today with sunny intervals. Fine and dry tomorrow, little bit of rain then overnight into Tuesday, and then dry with sunny intervals on Tuesday. And we heard that jingle which indicates that it is time for our Manx track. And as we're celebrating Annie Kissack in the first hour of the programme, what better way than to listen to the three coldest winds of Finn McCool. And this is sung by Kirjan Kujak and primarily composed by Annie Kissack.
Gala's Gaccan, brought to you by the Gaelic Broadcasting Committee.
And that was Kirjan Kujak singing Annie Kissack's arrangement of the three winds of Finn McCool, the three coldest winds. This is Massive Attack and Unfinished Sympathy. Sympathy.
And how it could be with you.
there we are. That was Massive Attack with Unfinished Sympathy. And yes, apparently they're an English trip-hop collective formed in 1988. And that was, yes, Massive Attack, Unfinished Sympathy. Sympathy, yes, I was getting that a bit confused there. Well, one of the people who was at the award ceremony, of course, for the Reih Bleeaney Vanannan, the Manann's Choice Award, was Chris Thomas, who happens to be the chair of Culture Vannan. Talking to the Ghaelgagh of Culture Vannan, Chris Thomas, and we've had a presentation today, obviously to my wife, Annie Kissack. What was the panel's view in terms of picking Annie as the Reih Bleeaney Vanannan?
Well, let's start by just saying Annie Abu, as you all said at the end and sang songs to her. Wasn't it wonderful that so many friends, as well as family, but mostly appreciators, were there for the selfless but incredibly valuable contribution that Annie has made over a great number of years to music, to language, to storytelling, to poetry, to bringing people together, not as part of a job, but in her free time, because of her passion and her love of the place and the people that she's part of. And that's what we were celebrating today in a primitive Methodist chapel with a beautiful view of the Manx hills. She's also made some other great contributions. For instance, she's kept Philip Gorn on the straight and narrow for over 30 years. She's brought up wonderful children, and it was just a lovely family atmosphere to have a primitive Methodist chapel full of people celebrating the contribution of somebody that Vanannan would have been proud of.
Because, of course, we've been at Bagara for a really proper old Manx concert and tea, and we were doing this interview in the midst of the tea, so we must get back in because there's some mighty scones on the go there. But yeah, tremendous to be involved in something like that.
Yeah, and it is, and it's the best job I've had as part of public service in the Isle of Man. It's a great honour to have been accepted as a person born in England as the Ghaelgagh of Culture Vannan, took over from you yourself, and I hope the organisation's gone from strength to strength, and I'm absolutely sure that Manx language, Manx music, and the sort of digital presentation, the physical presentation of everything that's wonderful about this place and the people has gone from strength to strength, and I hope that Culture Vannan has played its part, and it's great that we work with Manx National Heritage and the Arts Council and other organisations to have this award, which we give out not necessarily every year, but when somebody needs to receive it, and certainly Annie is one of those people.
So how does the panel, or the committee, whatever it is that you when you meet, how do you go about making these sorts of decisions? Because I imagine, you've had, I think, was it last year you had someone who was into old Manx Rex? Maybe Annie could be included in that about me, but and then this year someone with a completely different outlook on Manx stuff.
And we're here close to Kirkmichael, and one year, my first year I think, we gave it to the Kirkmichael players. Another contribution I remember vividly was Deemster Kane, and it wasn't for being a Deemster, it wasn't for all these years of public service, it was for his contribution to the environment and Manx Wildlife Trust. Look, we've got criteria, and it's about doing things through passion in your own time, not as part of your job, to contribute to what is special about the Isle of Man and its people, and Annie falls into that category. Each of the organisations that's part of it sends along a representative to a secret meeting. We then keep the results secret from pretty much everybody until an occasion like this, and then the person who's receiving it chooses a charity. In this case, it's a charity of the Manx language education, part of the Manx language education, and also we have it at a regular event as part of that regular event. And today we had this wonderful concert, Manx songs about sheep and the wind, and about so many other things to do with Manx music, poetry, language, and let's get back there and enjoy the tea.
And the secret, of course, had to be kept for a little bit longer this time.
That's right. Unfortunately, Annie's been poorly. still recovering. She kept mentioning that was one of the themes that you could notice. And Annie Abu, she's made a great recovery. And as I want to conclude this interview, thanks for everything she's done, most especially putting up with you for 34 years.
He's a cheeky monkey, isn't he? That old Chris Thomas fella. And of course, Chris is the chair of the Manx Heritage Foundation, Culture Vanannan, as they're now called. Anyway, time for Crazy What Love Can Do.
Wrap me up in diamonds, cover me in gold, but nothing they could buy me made my heart whole. I'd given up on romance, then I found you. Ain't it crazy what love can do? Crazy what love can do. Can someone tell me what is happening to me? You're my oxygen, now I can find breathe. Didn't care for anyone until there was you. Ain't it crazy what love can do? Crazy what love can do. Da 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 da.
And there we go, that's David, Greta, Becky Hill and Ella Henderson. Crazy What Love Can Do. And one of the things, yes, we've been listening to Annie, about Annie Kissack anyway, and yes, let's hear now Annie and Breesia, and they're having a bit of a coosh. Talking to the director of Culture Vanannan, Breesia Madrill, and Annie Kissack RBV. If we start off with you, Breesia, why have you picked Annie?
Well, I didn't pick Annie. The public picked Annie, which is absolutely wonderful. We have nominations for the Reih Bleeaney Vanannan, Vanannan's Choice of the Year, that come from the public, and then a small panel made up of different learned societies, Manx societies, come together and they make the decision. And the reason why they chose Annie is because she's quite wonderful at music and song and poetry and folklore and literature and performing and everything else you can imagine.
Is that true?
I have my moments, I think, is the best answer to that. But thank you. Yeah, that's a very generous assessment. But those certainly are the things that I spent an awful lot of my life doing in various ways over many years, yes.
And was it a big surprise to learn that you were going to be awarded the Reih Bleeaney Vanannan?
Yes, because there are so many people who are working for Manx culture in so many different ways now, as always, and don't all get the recognition that they deserve at all. But so I just feel really I'm part of a much bigger thing, part of a jigsaw really, and lots of pieces to it. And there are other pieces that will get their time in the limelight, if you like, I hope.
And you had some very generous words to say, Breesia, about Annie. I mean, it's hard to describe in a nutshell what Annie's involvement in relation to Manx culture is, but I'm going to ask you to have a go at it.
Well, we know that Annie started learning about Manx culture when she was a child, really, when she was a young person, and she was learning from her teachers, people like Les Quilliam, but also from Mona Douglas in the Reih Bleeaney Vanannan, the Youth of Man organisation, and so she started performing and singing, and she's represented the island all around the world, really, at different conferences and festivals. She's won awards, but really most of her life she spent producing music, writing new songs, arranging old songs, finding words, bringing everything together, writing the most beautiful poetry and plays, and performing as well. And I think that's an incredibly rich tapestry, really, to bring together, and she's somebody who inspires us all around her.
So, is this going to go to your head, do you think?
I doubt it. No, I'll just carry on doing the things I've always done and enjoyed doing. I think it's wonderful to have out those chances to do what you really enjoy, and that's really my motivation, I think. But I'm very pleased. I'm just very, very pleased with everybody to giving me this award. I wasn't expecting it, but I am genuinely honoured and very pleased, and I'm going to carry on doing more of the same, God willing.
And what motivates you to do this?
I think it's quite hard to know. I suppose coming from a small place like most of us there, I felt and have felt in the past that the Isle of Man has often been pushed to the side in terms of culture. Your poor language, you've not got much of a history, you haven't got this, you haven't got that. And sometimes Manx people themselves have defined themselves that way. So I think there's a sort of rebel instinct in me that thinks, no, it doesn't have to be like that. Why can't we be people who can do things with our language and our music? Why not? Why not have a go? And I suppose that's my motivation, is to have a go and see what happens. I don't feel particularly skilled, but I just go for it. And, you do learn as you do things. So, yeah, my motivation is, I think, to show we're still here in some ways.
And you couldn't have picked a better venue or indeed a better day for this.
Oh, it's an absolutely beautiful spring day at Bagaru Chapel here, and we're very grateful to the chapel for allowing us to have the presentation at the end of a Ghaelgagh concert. Annie's choir that's been going for about 25 years, probably even more. 35 years, so we got the number wrong. So 35 years. It's an incredible achievement, and hundreds of songs and tunes and arrangements that she's made and poems. And I think what comes across from everybody in the audience is how everybody really loves Annie and how much that she has given to the island and to her culture, and her love of the island shines through everything she does.
Well, the self always has to have the final word, so...
Do I? Yes, I suppose so. I've had a lovely afternoon here at this sun-filled chapel with a big vase of daffodils just behind me, singing first of all before the ceremony, and I'm looking out towards the hills, and somehow everything coming together. It's been great. Gurumai Murio, the Collier Fire.
In life are free, but you can give them to the birds and bees. I want money. That's what I want. That's what I want. That's what I want. Your love gives me such a thrill, but your love won't pay my bills. I want money. money don't get everything, it's true. What it don't get, I can't use. I want money.
Well, there's the first hour gone, and I hope you enjoyed finding out about Annie Kissack Reih Bleeaney Vanannan. I certainly enjoyed doing the interviews. But DAB, Brian Glick as Radio FM by Dúlishons Elian Vannan. This is Manx Radio, sure, Radio Vannan.
Manx Radio Weather with Manx Glass and Glazing.
Well, be a chirum le shell and greenach faster as fast a big Jew, be gia near hui meenach na bio on, as in temperele smoo on Celsius jeg, be le browers chirum on merach, le shell and greenach as gia fes, be in temperele share on Celsius jeg richt, hig pert the ja edrum rish fud na higers je mert, och ni shaw slow chail roche vaderen. And rate be a chirum le shell and greenach je mert, be gia near na shea hui fest on as in temperele smoo on Celsius jeg richtjach. Irina grenia devin a jeg lug she merach, as line a grenia 3 minutes feed roshak too. And in English, dry today with sunny intervals developing, moderate to fresh northwest winds and a top temperature of 11 degrees centigrade. A fine and dry day tomorrow with sunny spells and light winds. Best temperatures of 11 degrees C. Again, a spell of light rain then arrives for a time overnight into Tuesday, but that will clear away before dawn. The outlook, dry with sunny intervals on Tuesday, light west or northwest winds and a maximum temperature of 11 degrees C once more. Sunrise 12 minutes past 6 tomorrow and sunset 23 minutes before 7 today.
Manx Glass and Glazing can supply and install single, double and triple glazing. Call 674 573 or visit the showroom on the Snugborough Trading Estate. Guller's Gaccan, brought to you by the Gaelic Broadcasting Committee.
Well, those chaps are Blink 182. And that was all the small things. And I hope you enjoyed the first hour of the programme. I was obviously interviewing various people in connection with Annie Kissack getting the RBV. I should say, because I do feel a little awkward with this, bear in mind Annie is my wife and all that, but every year I have endeavoured to interview the recipient of the Reih Bleeaney Vanannan and cover it on this programme. So it's not favouritism. In fact, if anything, it feels just a little embarrassing, as indeed does this. And please do text into the programme 166177 or email studio@manxradio.com. And that's what Sue has done. And she says, these tributes still fall short. Fantastic. This is about Annie winning the RBV, Annie Kissack. Fantastic and well-deserved. You are the most amazing couple, preserving and promoting Manx and our heritage. Congratulations, Annie. Well, thanks, Sue. That's very generous of you. And what she also says here, and I hope Annie's listening because I'm always trying to persuade her, and she's never that keen. Phil, also love you and Annie on our unmissable programme on Manx Radio when she's your guest. So, if you are listening, Annie Kissack, Luke, it's not just me that's trying to persuade you to come on the show. Anyway, it's probably, I'm sure herself has got something to tell me now.
As Manx's Ballinbane on Tynwald Day, Manx Radio.
And I'm sure I heard them saying it like that.
And that's nonsense. Never heard it like that at all.
Well, this'll have to be one of those for Kane's place name campaign, don't you think?
And if herself says it is, then it must be, mustn't it? And this week, because in the first hour we were hearing about the concert at Bagaro, then I thought, well, let's start with that one. And of course, that's in the parish of Michael. So Bagaro, or Bagaro, first appears in the manorial roll in 1643, according to J.J. Neen, and it kind of means Garu, the rough road, or a rough road, I suppose. And there's two quarterlands named Bagaro Moor and Bagaro Beg, so that they're the big Bagaro and the little Bagaro, and yes, that's where they are. And one of the reasons I raised this is not so much that the pronunciation of Bagaro is often wrong. It isn't. It's usually pretty close. But there's some very interesting spellings of it, to the extent that we weren't entirely sure what to put on the poster when we had the concert there the other week. So yeah, some interesting variants. The earliest form, it was Bargarrow. That was this one in the manorial roll. And then it became Barrara, Bagara. And there are various versions of it that have developed over the years. A few others while we're looking at the place names of Kirkmichael. There's Ballatruan, which is Struan or Strowan's farm. So I would have thought Ballastruan would have been the farm of the stream, but according to J.J. Neen, and who would I be to argue with him? That's not the case. Then there's a Ballasker. Ballasker you would sort of think that maybe that was sker is the word for a rock in the sea, but Ballasker first appeared in the manorial roll in 1515 as Ballastair, and T's often ended up as K's or C's, and C's and K's ended up as T's. Yes, the Ballastair eventually became Ballasker, and Ballianasair is J.J. Neen's attempt at this, which would be the home of the craftsman. The homestead of the craftsman. There was one other. Where did I see it? Bully Galda, or Bully Galdry, as it's down in the manorial roll. the place or the fold of the English or the foreigner. So there we go. There's a few. Oh, there's another one here. Brechnach. I quite like that. Brechnach. So brech is the word for a spot. Brechnach would be well, according to Neen anyway, and I've no reason to doubt him on this, speckled land or field, and that's at Bishop's Court. Well, it's now time for a little bit of music, and who have we got here now? Let's have a look. Sean Colvin, Mary Chapin Carpenter, which is appropriate, a carpenter, because Ballasair, the place of the tradesman, or often Sair is referred to as a carpenter, and this is One Cool Remove, and we don't get here to find out much about this, but an American singer-songwriter, best known for her 1997 Grammy Award-winning song Sonny Came Home, but this one is One Cool Remove.
One cool remove, put me. One cool remove, put me there. And forever let me stay. One cool remove away. One cool remove from the things that hurt. One cool remove from the sea, the city. See it all in a passion play. One cool remove away. One cool remove from the white sun, rising like a cloud above the lake. One cool remove from the red moon, falling like a hair. One cool remove, like a bliss. One cool remove, since all is fleeting. I neither come nor go nor stay. One cool remove away. Cool remove.
Gallas Gaccan, brought to you by the Gaelic Broadcasting Committee.
Look into my eyes, you will see what you mean to me. Such such a heart, such a soul. And when you find me there, you'll search no more. Don't tell me it's not worth trying for. You can't tell me it's not worth dying for. You know it's true. Everything I do it for you. Look into your heart, you will find there's nothing there to hide. Take me as I am, take my life. I would give it all, I would sacrifice. Don't tell me it's not worth fighting for. I can't help it, there's nothing I want more. You know it's true. Everything I do it for you. There's no love like your love, and no other could give more love. There's no way unless you're there all the time, all the way. Yeah. To your heart, baby. Oh, you can't tell me it's not worth trying for. I can't help it, there's nothing I want more. Yeah, I would fight for you, I'd lie for you, walk the wire for you. Yeah, I'd die for you. You know it's true. Everything I do, I do it for you.
As Manx as a Dougie Butty, Manx Radio.
Yes, these old Douglas butties, eh? Well, this I've got a treat for you. Oh, and that was Brian Adams. Everything I do it for you. Yes, and a treat, a veritable treat, I say. Not least because the Bunscoill Ghaelgagh won a rather prestigious prize a couple of weeks ago now, and I've finally managed to get round to interviewing the children involved. Basically, they produced a film in Manx Gaelic with Scottish Gaelic subtitles, and that won the Film G, or one of the Film G awards. And the Film G award was for Clán Donna, which in Manx, of course, would be Drogh Phaitchyn, or Drogh Clón, maybe. But, well, if you don't speak Manx, or even if you do, if you do, you'll get this anyway. But basically, some of the most well-behaved children you would ever wish to meet were basically asked to create a film, and the film they created together with a bit of rap music, was Drogh Phaitchyn, and these very well-behaved children were telling us all, or singing to us about all the terribly bad things that they did or they would do, and so let's actually have a listen to the track. Sadly, you can't see the brilliant acting, but here's what they sung.
Milton and Ton and Jill, Grarad and Oak. Jonas School of Terror as your neighbor tree, Tashin all your little valley, Eric Wed Sea. He come a canny cloy, gammon and car. So she's purchased in a minakai. Drop, Phaitchyn, drop, Phaitchyn.
Sorgus and Shapman to Connacht to stir.
But in development and that will my to you. Drop, Phaitchyn, drop, Phaitchyn.
Chloe Emma switch there to Goldus Miliava.
Bosos and Minion League, she can have pigeon in.
Darren, Oatless, Sugar and Ellen.
Gin and Dr. Phaitchyn, G. Macker and Son. My Poland Hindu Blues calling Ballad Killion. Gin and Dr. Phaitchyn, G. Macker and Son. My Poland Hindu Blues calling Ballad Killion.
Fleetwood Matter Agan, the Cudgeon and Ein. Golgus a Ferk, Boner and Lagan.
Drop, Phaitchyn, drop, Phaitchyn. Gin and Dr. Phaitchyn, G. Macker and Son. My Poland Hindu Blues calling Ballad Killion. Gin and Dr. Phaitchyn, G. Macker and Son. My Poland Hindu Blues calling Ballad Killion.
And Nelson Goyle, Al, Jane and Parent and Ein. Al Crennick, Fishman, Sennett, and a Lair again.
A Lair again, Bimid, Dragon, a Ski.
Chicken, Air, Botnet, Aaron TV.
Drop, Phaitchyn, drop, Phaitchyn.
An ocean lit track to Shen and Culture. Definitely with Clash and J Tread the year.
Definitely with Clash and J Tread the year.
Gin and Dr. Phaitchyn, G. Macker and Son. My Poland Hindu Blues calling Ballad Killion. Gin and Dr. Phaitchyn, G. Macker and Son. My Poland Hindu Blues calling Ballad Killion. Drop, Phaitchyn, drop, Phaitchyn, drop, Phaitchyn, drop, Phaitchyn, drop, Phaitchyn, drop, Phaitchyn.
And there we go. That's the Bunscoill Ghaelgagh's winning entry for the Film G award. And it's called Drogh Phaitchyn, Bad Children. And yes, there's some tremendous lines in there about eating junk food. There was, what else were they doing? They were spray painting on walls. They were, they said they weren't being lazy, it's just part of the culture. Have you never heard of Treadle Ewer? Time enough. That's one of the lines of the song which I thought was particularly good. But yes, wonderful job. Well, let's hear what happened at the Film G Award. Now, I should say this is both in Scottish Gaelic and Manx Gaelic. Basically, in the Scottish Gaelic, they're saying who won and saying that it was the Bunscoill Ghaelgagh. And then the children, 3 of the children at least from the Bunscoill, went up and gave their various thank yous, including to Aileen Clegg, who's the class teacher. And then an interesting throwaway line at the end in English, which you'll be able to hear.
Drogh Phaitchyn, grandaughter le Bunscoill Ghaelgagh, Ilan Vanning.
Sarah as your neighbor tree, Tashin all your little valley, Eric Wed Sea. He come a canny cloy, gammon and car. So she's purchased in a minakai.
Agus, ha an dúis a dó gu, Clown Donna, Isle of Man.
Feshin Giri Greg Gurmai just an Inzadarain Benich to Clegg.
As in Brasteline, Arcanella Election and Jew. As Film G, Son Leg Dashin and Chits Jackens Show. Gurmai.
Right, we're going.
Oh, great. Now Black Camel are going to scrap Harris and head off to work in the Isle of Man. Well done, Film G.
And there we are, a rather bemused presenter there explaining that maybe she should just give up and go to the Isle of Man to work. And we would always welcome people to the island, of course. But wasn't that wonderful listening to the children actually getting their award in front of thousands of people? It was a packed hall, and also it was, I'm fairly sure it was live on BBC Alba as well, which is pretty bloomin' marvellous. And the kids were wonderful, I thought. They're only, 10, 11 years old, and getting up on stage, they're all dressed up in glittery outfits and saying wonderful things, and brilliant stuff. Well, I went along to the Bunscoill Ghaelgagh, and I know this is primarily an English-speaking programme, but I hope you'll allow me the indulgence of actually having an interview. I think there's about a dozen of the children who took part in the film, and I basically asked them a little bit about the film, and they tell us about their roles. So if you do know a little bit of Manx, have a listen out, and if you don't, just listen to the confidence of these fantastic children who won this wonderful award. Cren enam taught?
Tamish Ferris.
Ferris as Crevan Bunji in film.
So Te McCown, Phaitchyn, Ta Drogh as fashion like all Yasminicton J Rod, Tashin Junu Ta Drogh. So like Gi Gumakaigi Bunscoill, Tammy Junish and Ram. So as they Ram scenes how getting used, so they dolly to get Ram scenes and say so just drop Phaitchyn.
As Cren enam taught?
Cara.
As Cyrryd Vowdien once in film?
Ramstu, the Mish, Olivia Nora as Evie Junu Downs, Unshen Travashin, Yema Harris Naradalian. Curd Alia Vashin Junu. Vashin Roy Trude and Rudunch and like Rudigan Dussin Skull. Volshen A.
Well, Shen Yindasach. As Crema the Chions, Cren enam taught Evie.
Tammy Evie as Vashin Junu Ram Stew as Smiley and Junu film as Tifia Vire Fair Tints Gilg as Shen Curtin Culture McCown Gilg as Smiley and Look Gilg Erfa Te just Tatnasak as Te Olia McCurgeon Look Gilg Nies, so Tammy able to look as Adson and Gilg Nies.
Yindasak. Cren enam taught?
Mish Nora as they Fiodoli Ker Oyen a Pishin Regalia Leshna Foglan ac Tammy Smonington Vashin Jinu Fiavai.
As Cren enam taught?
Mish Freezer Babby Cunyachton Tre Vashin Ker Oyen a Stu Regalia Vashin Oya Lau to Jinu Bitbag J.A. as like Prowl as the Mish's Nora spend home on a tread Jinu in Clun Rud as Jinu like Chinder like clocks some like ram tre and it's very ho tatnasak Tammy Giri Jinu all your reach.
Yindasak. As Ren Usgol gus Nalbanvel. As Cren enam taught?
Ailsa.
As Craig Gorish for Nalban.
They fear tatnasak as they fear Vua and Bolvash and Goll.
Fivai. As Vow once Shen, Cren enam taught?
Mish Ori.
As Cyrryd Vow Smunion Jane Turuscus Nalban.
The home on a sly Ekin Oundrin. As I stretching Goll stage, Greg Gurmired as Gethin and Ounder.
As for Gaccan fee stormer for Miss Munyon.
Te.
Yundasach. As Crenham taught.
Miss Brisha.
As Kirid Voudian who once in film.
Ramidinu Gorish pretended to use spray paint Aaron Waller.
Annie me. Shen Agla. As Renos Golgus Nelban. Haren. Well, Crenham taught.
Olivia.
As Ren Osgolgus Nelban nach Ren.
Te.
As Kirid Voudian Rish the Holly Fayak Trevo once and Nalba Treren Goll Sus Erden.
Renchen just Greg Gurmad, dus in Rasteline, dus Venetja Clegg as dus film G.
As Nachrowi Indersack, the Renshuas Cosna.
Yeah, they fear Tatnasack.
As Row Palcha the live Ush Nalban Chit as Grey Nalog Gentamai do.
Te Karafis and Kurd Ved Greg. Over Lord Nalvina.
Aye. So, Harenu Tiggle Fogla be on Albanish.
Hene.
That's right. Ah, well. Well, Gentamai the Holly Fayach, got a my moyo as go the Kerbal Nish. And that was the children, the Drogh Phaitchyn, the bad children of the Bunscoill Ghaelgagh, who won this amazing film award, I should say, at the Film G Scottish Gaelic Film Awards. And I hope you didn't mind me playing that, even though we don't tend to be a Gaelic primarily programme. It was just a wonderful interview getting all those kids. And if you were wondering what Crenham taught is what's your name? So they were all dutifully telling me what their names were. Even when I said Crenham taught Evie, what's your name, Evie? Evie says, Tamish Evie, I'm Evie. So yeah, and they were basically telling me what they did in the film, and those who went, there were 3 of them that went to receive the award in Scotland, and they were explaining what a fantastic do it was, and how they had loads and loads of plaudits from the various people they met. Anyway, time for a little bit of Cornish music now, and this is Dalla with Tala Rouge.
McTanaby were hung and characters and goose, hanging cockaroos, oh Tolla, Ramirez and Tolla, Goose, Tolla, 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 Goose, Tolla, hanging cockaroos, Tolla, Ramirez and characters and goose, Tolla, 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 Roos, Tolla, hanging cockaroos, Tolla, Tolla, oh
Well, we're far too late to be listening to a weather forecast, but be a chirm son could smoo Karen tree lane short shit, just bit beg the fliar on. Yeah, it'll be dry primarily for the next 3 days, but just a little bit of rain overnight, Monday into Tuesday. Anyway, that's our cue for a Manx track, and who better than Barul and the girls of Balladool.
Galas Gaccan, brought to you by the Gaelic Broadcasting Committee.
The Girls of Balladool, among other pieces of music from the mighty Barul. And I didn't have a chance this week to play the various recordings I've done from my judging session of the Manx Folk Awards, but next week we will hear some of the classes, and this week I've got a sort of a treat for you. I hope it's a treat anyway, and we'll get to that in a minute. But first, Robert has come up with one of his interesting phrases for me to translate into Manx. So what is, for all that was said, there's still not enough public housing in Gaelic? says Robert. So, Robert, that's a grand saying, and this is my stab anyway at a translation. Na jai shennas olju, hanel taien teach the lua on fos. So, na jai shennas olju, after all that, basically, I suppose would be the way of translating that. Na jai shennas olju, hanel taien teach. There are not taien teach public houses. The lua enough. There are not enough public houses in existence, fos yet or still. So that's my stab. Na jai shennas olju, hanel taien teach the lua on fos. For all that was said, there's still not enough public housing. And one of the treats, the remaining treats that we have on Gullas Ghaelgagh is, first of all, granddaughter, Violet Callister, followed by grandfather, John Dog Callister. Violet wrote this tremendous poem. Sadly, the quality of the recording's not as good as I would have hoped. And John Dog Callister then reading out his poem, which was the set poem for one of the classes at the Manx Folk Awards. So let's listen first of all to Violet and then John. And then we're going to have a nice day with the stereophonics.
Gullas Gaccan, brought to you by the Gaelic Broadcasting Committee.
Thanks for choosing Manx. The Isle of Man is full of food and going to Tesco is very rude. The farmers work as hard as they can to grow great food from the Isle of Man. You can buy Manx butter, honey or cheese, now Ireland cows or little bees. The farmers are happy when you choose their food, so go to nice markets and don't be rude.
The scarecrow, find me. On one leg he stands alone, in ragged clothes he has no home. For farmer's work he gets no pay, standing, commanding, night and day. A battered hat keeps his head dry. The jacket is torn, he has one eye. The straw in his arms and belly fills. He has no need of fancy frills. His job is this, to scare the crows who eat the seeds the farmer sows. On one leg he stands alone, you never hear him curse or moan. This meadow is his own domain, he watches all the precious grain. The wind and rain don't bother him, you may think his life is grim. But winter days he'll spend outdoors, he'll be ready for next year's cause. A little more straw, a pair of gloves, he won't complain. That's what he loves.
And there we go. That was two Callisters for the price of one. Violet Callister with her poem and John Dog Callister with his. And it's great to see or to hear the generations of Callisters there with their tremendous poems. And we will hear a lot more from the Manx Folk Awards next week. I had the privilege of judging the class on Thursday morning, which was some poems, one of which was that one we've heard from John Dog Callister, and some Manx Gaelic readings from various primary school children. I heard from the Bunscoill Ghaelgagh, I heard from Arbury Primary School. I think Braddon was one, and who was the other? Oh gosh, I can't think now. And anyway, I'll remember by next week. And so yes, we'll hear a lot more about the Folk Awards next week. I promised you have a nice day from the Stereophonics, so they're coming up next, and then we'll hear from Joni Mitchell and Woodstock, which I hope you will enjoy. But thanks for joining me on today's Gullas Ghaelgagh.
San Francisco Bay, house B39, early PM, can't remember what time. Got the waiting cab, stopped at the red light. A dress I'm sure of, but it turned out just right. It started straight off, coming here as hell. That's his first words. We asked what he meant. He said, where you from? We told him our lot. We take a holiday. Is this what you want? So have a nice day. Have a nice day. Have a nice day. Have a nice day. Lie around all day, have a drink or chase yourself and tourists, yeah, that's what I hate. He said we're going wrong, we've all become the same. We dress the same ways, only our accents change. So have a nice day. Have a nice day. Have a nice day. Have a nice day. Swim in the ocean, that be my dish. I'll drive around all day and kill processed fish. It's all money gum, no artists anymore. You're only in it now to make 'em more, more, more. So have a nice day. 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 Have a nice
I came upon a child of God. He was walking along the road, and I asked him, where are you going? And this he told me. I'm going on down to Yasgur's farm. I'm gonna join in a rock and roll band. I'm gonna camp out on the land. I'm gonna try and get my soul free. We are stardust. We are golden, and we got to get ourselves back to the Then can I walk beside you? I have come here to lose the smog, and I feel to be a cog in something Or maybe it's the time of man, I don't know who I am, but you know life is for learning. We are stardust, we are golden, and we got to get ourselves back to the By the time we got to Woodstock, we were 500,000 strong, and everywhere there was song and celebration. And I dreamed I saw the bombers riding shotgun in the sky, and they were turning in to butterflies above our nation. We are stars.